Yo, welcome back to Just the Guys podcast, where our mission is simple and it's to bring back shame. Because shame isn't hate, it is the feedback that brings correction to what's destroying our communities, and what's destroying our communities is rooted in communism. Make sure you hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe. If you want to go a step further, you can also join the Shamers Club today. Now, let's get into it. This week, the Chuck Schumer shutdown rolls on, and suddenly America's realizing really just how dependent it's become. The moment food stamps get paused, people hit the internet threatening to loot, steal, and riot, not because they can't work, because they've been trained not to have to. Politicians have positioned themselves as providers. The entire communities have accepted that role like it's righteous. They've made government the new God, handing out checks, calling it compassion, and calling anyone who questions it heartless. Meanwhile, in New York, Zohran Mamdani is out here promising more free everything, free housing, free food, free life. And he's dangling dependents like a carrot while the city rots beneath him. And here in Maryland, Wes Moore said he'll fund nonprofits to feed the hungry instead of fixing the system that made them hungry in the first place. They'll hand out crumbs just to keep you quiet, and they'll call that leadership. But here's the truth. When something's free, you are the product. And when your survival depends on government approval, you're not free, you are owned. This is communist goal number 32 in action: centralized control through social programs, and goal number 40, which is discredit the family as a social unit, replacing it with the state. And that's what this is all really about: breaking the provider instinct in men and replacing it with dependence on politicians. So tonight we're pulling the mask off the welfare gospel, and we're talking about why Americans have become so addicted to dependence and how men can take their roles back as providers, protectors, and builders.
Donald motherfucking Orange Man J. Trump, I'm gonna tell you just like this. What the fuck you mean? Who ain't getting that goddamn food stamps in goddamn November? Cause I'm getting my goddamn shit. I don't know about the rest of you motherfuckers, but I'm getting my shit. Cause I'm gonna tell you just like this: on Jesus Lamar motherfucking Christ, I will be at motherfucking Walmart with my steel toes on and my motherfucking helmet, and I dare a bitch try to stop me from walking out that motherfucking store with my groceries. Baby, I'm 250 pounds solid. Baby, you want to see a human motherfucking bulldozer, baby? Because that's what the fuck I'm going to turn into. If you think you going to stop me from leaving out that goddamn store with my motherfucking monthly groceries that I get every goddamn month, I ain't bothering no goddamn body, okay? Why the fuck is y'all bothering me and my goddamn food? I'm just so tired of his big back, bald head, cradle cap having ass. Shaped like a motherfucking penguin any motherfucking way, albino motherfucking walrus looking ass. I'm sick of him. Like, it's gonna be an episode of goddamn Snap if y'all turn them goddamn Snap benefits off. I can tell you that.
Look, this woman said she's 250 pounds, right?
Yeah. Man.
Again, America, so wealthy it has fat poor people.
Fat poor people that never starved a day in their life.
Right, absolutely. And you know, it's funny because we've seen a lot of Black women go on to TikTok and whatever platform and do the same kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Funny too, because the majority of people that are actually on welfare are white, on SNAP programs are white. You're not seeing men do this. You're not seeing
yes, you are.
White folk. I haven't. So if they are out there, it's a big issue because we're talking about 42 million people on this SNAP program. And look at where the fight is. The fight is to maintain their dependency, not to build processes, agendas, and systems to lift them out of the dependency. And look, she's comfortable. Okay. She never wants to get off of the program. I bet you she'd lose some weight if she did.
She would. So she said she's 250 pounds. That is the size of Derrick Henry, the running back from the Baltimore Ravens. 250 pounds. No, Reason, is that your cousin, man? Get your cousin, man. Get your.
No, first, quite frankly, hey Google, can you kindly translate that clip from toaster to English, please? One, because as Gimpy would say, I don't speak toaster. This chick has been using too many toasters. She is 250 pounds herself. I mean, as the great, I'm not going to, as one of the great leaders of the manosphere movement in the past used to say, you could fill the A gap with that. You can fill up the A gap.
And
That's
the A gap,
200
of course, is a football reference.
is a football term. Yes, it is. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I quite frankly hope she does this. I do. There have been multiple references to specific places around the United States hearing this stuff, and these Walmarts and these Targets and this and that have been calling for extra security from either their security or the police in the area. And quite frankly, I hope they do this. Everybody who is claiming to do this, I hope they do this and end up like that chick that ended up that decided to blame people falsely. They said someone threw a rock at her, and now she's in jail. It was so take these people off the street. Absolutely, 100%. Everybody that says I'm going to do this, do it. And I've seen a lot of women. It's really sad. I've seen a lot of women doing it. I hope some of these police officers treat them like anybody else.
Yeah,
Whatever. Just do it. Be like Nike. Just do it for real. Because this chick had a full head of weave.
Right.
That cost probably just as much as it would cost for her to get a month's worth of food stamps. Get rid of these people.
And then you need to go a step further. If you're out there doing what she suggests, you need to be banned from these welfare programs for the rest of your life.
I can agree with that, man. Because first off, I mean, she's on her phone. The video quality on that video was not an Obama phone quality, right? So it's clearly an iPhone, a Samsung, or something like that. So she's got a good, face cam. You can see the cellulose or cellulite. You can see the craters. So there's something to it, right? There has to be some type of consequence. Gimpy, man, when you saw that, man, what were your thoughts?
We need to turn the benefits back on. You guys all, I know,
we're wrong.
Been thinking about this a lot lately because it's been the topic of conversation, and for a lot of reasons, because her riding is what they want. It gives Trump his national emergency to put the National Guard in every city and every state across the country. They're just giving him what they say he wants. But that being said, you guys are wrong. Everybody is wrong. Fighting with these people to get them off welfare, it's the 80-20 rule. There will always be the bottom of the society. There will always be the lowest tier, the people who refuse to contribute, the people who don't want to contribute. And it only dawned on me the other day how wrong we all are about this, because I'm in your camp, technically, when it comes to I rather people earn their way type shit. But I'm sorry, the JPs, and if you don't know who Jay Prince is, you should check out CT's show. But the welfare kings and queens out there and all these people, they need these benefits because it keeps them in a 5 square block radius inside the cities. They never leave. They don't cause crime anywhere. When they get uppity, they burn down their own neighborhoods. They don't go anywhere else and cause chaos. And it's all because they can count on the fact that they get fed and they get housing and they're kept in one place. I'm sorry. I'm long since past thinking that the bottom part of society is ever going to want to do anything more than collect the check.
And isn't that slavery?
I don't want them. I don't care. I don't want them in my day. I got to go to work. I have bills to pay. My life isn't going to change if they get off welfare. I'm sorry. I still have to work hard. And then I got to deal with the fact that there are a bunch of crazy poor people roaming around committing crime. Because
what about the fact that it's your money? What about the fact that it's your money that is going to fund these systems?
It's not. You guys are also all wrong about that. You guys can't be saying that tax money funds anything when we have a deficit almost double the size. We run a deficit that makes up like 2/3 of the budget. We don't finance anything with our tax money. We use it to control inflation by pulling currency out of the.
So soldiers, do you agree with that, man?
No. I have given up on thinking you're going to save these people. You're not going to correct this behavior.
I agree with you.
Worry about being jacked while they're starving. Give them money from the overinflated debt. Control fraud and waste.
I'm going to actually let me agree with you, Gimpy, because you are raising a phenomenal point here.
Hell of a point.
Okay. So what you are saying, and correct me if I misinterpreted it, what you're saying is this is the system at work, basically, keeping a segment of the society that is hell bent on being non-productive in check. and at the same time putting $8 billion into the economy monthly. Okay.
13% of grocery store sales nationwide on average.
In addition, with regard to taxation, now we all are taxed. Okay. I do agree with you that, the question, why do we need to be taxed if we are in a situation where we're just going to print money anyway? Right. So I think that's an excellent question, actually. But you could then argue that the system of taxation is just another mechanism of control to keep.
It is. It controls inflation. I do, but that's
well, not just that.
Welfare and this crazy woman threatening to riot. And you said you didn't see white people. Go to the X page, EBT of TikTok. You'll see plenty of white people. They might think that they're black, but they are white people. And they are threatening to riot as well. Okay. So again, I am at the point is I'm a contributing member. We're contributing members. There are children who have nothing to do with the fact that their parents don't want to contribute, who are going to suffer because of this. At the end of the day, we have made our bed. We must lay in it. This is the cost to maintain our system so that the normal people don't get robbed going to work because they took a bus or a train and there's a guy who's hungry, right? No one's killing each other for a loaf of bread in the streets of America. Maybe Jordan's, but not a loaf of bread.
Let me just add one more point with regard to taxation being a mechanism of control, the purpose of which is to prevent the middle class from acquiring assets in order to shift them out of permanent middle class status and into a higher economic echelon. And we see this clearly illustrated with the poor. Actually, they're trying to shift more people from the middle class into the poor. And when you look at these programs, you can't even acquire assets and also be on the dole. So it's just a long-winded way of saying, Gimpy, you have a point.
Man, I think you guys are oversimplifying it a little bit, though.
Not really, man.
No, because what you're saying is, give these people what they want. And it's almost like the American capitalist system.
For me. It's selfish. It's for you. Don't you like riding the trains with your family and going into DC and not worrying a bunch of homeless people are going to swarm you because they haven't had a meal for a week?
Are you saying poverty leads to crime? Are you saying poverty equals crime?
No, poverty automatically is a correlating factor to crime. It exists in the exact same places all the time. When people are poor and they're starving, we have historical norms. Forget about American norms. We have historical norms. Then tyranny follows. The way you keep civil order when you have your poor not fed and they need to feed, they struggle to literally survive. No one in America struggles to survive. There are soup kitchens. Everyone can find a meal if they try hard enough. Really, if you try hard enough.
But that's the whole point, right? Why do you have to tax people to provide others? Because out of abundance. Listen,
it's too late.
Listen, out of abundance,
we created
one mic, you guys. One mic.
Out of abundance, most people will be more than willing to give, right? It's just part of human nature. When you see a need, you're more than willing to address it. But I think hold on a minute. I do think the tax system kind of abates people from that or desire to give, because now you're putting into the system and saying that system is supposed to do it for me, instead of saying I keep more of my money. I choose where my money goes. I choose to donate it to the church, or donate it to the food bank, or donate it to the nonprofit that can feed these people, or just do it myself, right? So I don't just solely believe, right, that if there's poor people, it's going to lead. I mean, like, people that don't have food, it's going to lead to crime. They're going to jump you, because I think there's more than enough people that will say, "Here's a piece of chicken," and walk their merry way.
The only places where heavy levels of poverty and fighting for survival hasn't led to high levels of crime is high levels of tyranny, right? Vlad Tepes was one of the poorest nations in his time, but he had almost no crime, and they had like gold encrusted with gem watering cups. Why? Because if you stole it, he cut your hand off and speared you for everyone to damn see. No one stole out of fear. But we look, and any westernized, civilized democracy as it's developing, and the poverty times that they're stricken with, it's insane when people need food. You have food riots, you have civil unrest, you have spikes in theft, in murder, in levels of crime, in organized crime. whenever we try and do this. So they look, I'm not saying it's a good system. I'm saying we're stuck with 42 million communists, whether they want to be or not. They are 100% reliant on the government to get by. Now, can we wean that number down 10, 20%? Sure, we can get rid of the fraud and waste. But the core 80% of it that exists, you're never getting rid of. They will never contribute. They either can't because they're impoverished to an extent that they can't contribute. They're infirmed, right? They're disabled. They have some sort of reason that they're on this assistance, or they're just bottom feeders. And honestly, you work in the real world, all three of you guys. Do you want these bottom feeders lining up for the jobs? And you have to, it's hard enough to sift through candidates to find good people to work. And now you want to add a whole pile of useless people that we're dragging out into the light and saying, now you got to contribute after lifetimes of keeping them hooked on the heroin that's called SNAP. I'd rather have my life and pay the price for the system I've created. You want to clean up fraud and waste, clean up fraud and waste. But it is an unrealistic thing to think the government can pull the plug on these things and we're not going to upturn the whole nation over it.
At this point, I'll be very quick. At this point, when you look at people like you just said, the TikTok page, Gimpy, or the woman we just saw, that's irredeemable. Okay, so there is definitely a segment of the society that, and I have no reason to believe that woman you featured in the first clip doesn't mean everything she says and would go out there and act in an irrational manner instead of going to a food pantry and just getting some food. Mark said earlier in the chat, what don't they understand about the S in SNAP means supplemental. But what we're seeing is, I mean, even the government, the Democrats are telling us that these people are starved without this program. That's supposed to be a supplemental program, right? The last thing I'll say is, and this goes back to what Gimpy said a moment ago, this is a very intricate system. When you think about, because Logic, you mentioned charity, right? Well, charity in this country has become a mafia-like organization, all right? The 501c3 mafia is what we have, and they have no interest at all, by design, of alleviating any of the problems that they're organized to address.
Government-funded charities. Let's be clear, because there's a lot of nonprofits out there that are doing good work.
That the government-funded charities, like what we see in Baltimore, for example, the mayor's wife, she has a 501c3, and they took in $700,000 last year and spent $600,000 on management, whatever that means, probably salary for her, or a large portion thereof. So we've got what we just witnessed, a dyed-in-the-wool segment of the society who is so embedded in the slavery of these programs that they're never going to leave the plantation. And then we have a whole apparatus, that being the 501c3 mafia and the governments who feed them, that want to perpetuate and even grow this sort of arrangement.
Okay, the outstanding, really quickly, Proverbs 10:15 says the destruction of the poor is their poverty. So that's that to start. Number two, the S standing for supplemental. The reason she has an issue with it is because, and she doesn't go to a food pantry or something like that, is because you're not getting your steak, your shrimp, and your lobsters from a food pantry. You can get that. You can make yourself seem like you're more than you are when you're using SNAP. And finally, can we really just get to the reason why that this whole shutdown is happening to begin with? Because of the people that these people voted for. They're trying to, the Democratic Party is trying to get something moved from the Affordable Care Act that will involve illegal immigrants having health care. We have an issue with that. So because you voted these people in, these people that you voted in are the ones that are keeping the government closed. Don't be pissed at us for wanting to take care of this. Look at your own people who are keeping you guys from getting the extra $200 that you're trying to spend on burgers and fries instead of doing what you should normally do in society and get off this bullshit. That's all.
Now, let me say this lady that the clip we played, she looks like she's a regular church goer. She looks like, she's in the church, yelling and screaming, hooping and hollering. And let me say, this has to be her pastor right here. Now, this is a clip from a pastor that was speaking about 3 months ago when people were talking about the big, beautiful bill. and how it's going to cut Medicare funding and stuff like that. But I want to play this to just kind of show how those folks that Gimpy you're talking about, it's kind of like a cultural thing. They want people to think like this versus these are people that are just going to go hungry, XYZ.
70 million of us on Medicaid. Dana and I were listening to the radio, and there are people who say around this nation they hate Medicaid, and they ain't even got sense enough to know that they're on it. Because each and every state calls it something different. But these people who want to racialize poverty and say that somebody is taking, they are the very ones who have nothing without Medicaid. Medicaid, the government's health care program for low-income folk, will be cut by $1 trillion, forcing maybe 17 million people off its roll. This is necropolitics, the politics of death. This is human-designed death. More than 3 million will lose food stamps while Whitey is going to Mars. Nutrition subsidies will be destroyed, and 17 million children will lose food out of their mouths while rich people buy bigger and bigger yachts. This is damnable evil. And human-caused pain.
So, Campy, I want to go to you first, man, because first, you haven't been to Black church yet, and this is still your homework assignment, is to go to Black church. But this pastor, in response to what you're saying, this is why people like that woman in the first clip are going to go out and riot. So how do you respond, man?
Dude, the only person who racialized poverty there is him.
Mm-hmm.
He made it all about race. So again, it's part of the grift. He needs them to be poor, so they stay in his church. Because if they get rich, they'll leave.
Right.
I mean, that's how it goes.
Look, but do you see this is the seed of the violence that you're talking about? Because we're not talking about a poor person on the way to work. He's starving for bread and he's going to accost you or something like that. We're talking about this big back woman right here that's got her iPhone and saying she's going to loot and rob because he can't get her visas.
She has an iPhone. Everybody has stuff. Like, that's so stupid. Who cares? She has an iPhone. Let's not pocket watch the poor, for starters, because that makes the argument like not as stable.
Man, you're turning into a do funny, man.
Overall, no,
funny advocate.
I don't care, because you are looking at people that are irredeemable. You are trying to save people that do not want to be saved themselves. And then you're trying to adjust society, thinking that if you make drastic moves at a societal level, somehow they're going to be jolted from their 1,000-year doldrums. And they're going to wake up and decide they don't like a free handout that they've been getting their entire life that they haven't had. And in most of these people's cases, it's multi-generation at this point. So you got to stop playing this game, man. Let's be realistic. We are subject to the system we created. If you want them off it, then you have to accept what comes next. If people are starving and looking for meals, which has not happened in like 40 years in this country, food.
More than that.
But I'm just saying, like, the reality, you can arguably say for 40 years, even the poorest of us can find food.
Yeah.
And there's somewhat of a case for housing even in this country. Less now, but they're overall. And you're sitting here and you're saying, let's just throw 42 million people to the wind now. A chunk of those are children, and a chunk of those are people who deserve it. Just to get the rest, the adults you don't like who are on it for whatever reason, some valid, some personal, some not. And I'm not against it. I'm the same way. I feel the same way as you guys do, but I am a realist. You guys are talking about ridiculousness. 10 to 13% of monthly sales to Walmart, ShopRite, Safeway comes from this mechanism. Forget about the poor people. These places have a 2% profit margin. You kill them 10% every month, they're all broke.
But that presupposes that this 42 million will not eat if they're off of these programs. And that is what, people like that minister want you to believe. And he's a good representation of what I like to call a macroeconomic flat earther. He doesn't understand how economies work. Okay. The reality is 63% of the people on the dole are white people. Okay. So he's trying to racialize it when in fact, the majority of folk that are receiving the benefits are not even black people. And you want to talk about this waste, fraud, and abuse piece. Look, about 13% of these people are not even citizens of the United States.
Yep.
Okay. So if
There you
to
go.
me, they shouldn't even be on this unless it's a very, very thin slice. Say you got some guy that was a translator over in Afghanistan. Okay. And we got to get him the hell out of there when the place reverted back to Taliban rule. All right. So he comes over here and we're trying to set him up and he's on the system for, a year or so. Okay. I get that. But just if you come here, you should come here with a way to support yourself. Okay.
Not those people.
There should be literally, except for the case that I mentioned, like I think Trump said he's going to stop or seriously reduce the asylum category in the next year.
I didn't hear that yet.
So, we can't afford it. We literally cannot afford it. $38 trillion in debt. And that is not counting programs like Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. If you add those in, then you are talking numbers that will keep you up at night. Over $200 trillion in commitments.
Quite frankly, the guy's just a liar and wrong. Not everybody in the United States is on Medicaid, no matter what it's called throughout whatever state it's in. It covers 1 in 5 people as of 2025, and that comes from USA Facts. So that's 70 million people out of 350 million. That works out to around 1 in 5. And guess what? Over 50% of the United States is not poor. They're not. Like the majority of the people in the United States live above the poverty line. So I mean, I just don't understand why.
Let me ask you this, Chadwick. Reason. But this pastor though, he's telling people to be dependent upon government.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right. He's suggesting, and isn't this another reason why men are leaving the church? Right? Because aren't men being told not to be providers by their leadership or quote unquote leadership?
How did I know you were going to correlate those two? And 100%. I had a discussion with a young lady just a couple of days ago online having to do with the exact same thing. That the reason that 70% of the church, the Christian church, is women is because the pastors like feeding the congregation fish. They won't, I say it all the time, if they teach you how to fish, you won't need them anymore. So if you continue to, and the reason that the men are gone is because they're looking at the women, and the women are making all these comparisons between the voice of their house in comparison to what's coming out of the pastor's mouth, and they're giving more credence and credit to what the pastor is saying than your own husband. And we'll never take that. So we might as well just say, you know what, screw you, screw the church, screw everything that's coming out of your mouth, because the reason that we're not there is because you're not teaching us the ways to get through. You're teaching us how to deal with it. You know what? I need you to just, if you pray, and if you fast, and if you I mean, they're even properly exegeting the Bible properly. Faith without works is dead. Okay. Faith is the knowledge of, you know what, this is what I need to do, and the works is doing it. Okay. There's a difference between hope and faith. Hope is I'm going to win the lottery. That's a chance. There's probably chances are that's not going to happen. But you know what will happen? If you put your mind towards something, I mean, write down a plan and follow that plan, chances are you'll get further along with doing the works. And that's not what's happening in these churches. These churches are saying one thing, they're teaching one thing, and doing something else behind the scenes.
Yep.
They're saying, bring your bills to the altar. This is how you get out of debt. But behind the scenes, they have different advisors that help them. They have different strategists. They have a whole group of people that they talk to that get them to where they get to. I mean, if they really actually believed, I'll kill it at this, I promise. If they really believed what they were teaching, if they really believed, like I'm talking, really believed, they would not care about the fact that 70% of the church is women, and they tell the truth and say, you know what, God will protect us and keep our church going, even if the women leave. because they're the ones that are paying the bills. Believe God and not who you think is going to keep the bills and the lights on. I'm done. I'm sorry.
So shout out to Mark in Portland, who is a member of the Shamers Club. He said even children are now getting type 2, which was nearly unheard of 30 years ago. And type 2, of course, referring to diabetes, the sugar.
Sweet diabetes.
You got the sugar. And that's true, right? Because, I mean, a lot of the food, the quote-unquote food that people get on these SNAP benefits is junk food. I mean, they're getting a bunch of stuff. But again, the church, Gimpy, is there a Jewish phrase or scripture or anything like that that says if you don't work, you don't eat?
I'm sure there is. I'm not. I mean, everything in Judaism is meritocracy, so you got to put the work in. I'm sure there is a scripture, and I just can't quote it.
But so here's the other thing about this whole government shutdown, like and the whole SNAP benefits. To me, it's like this whole idea of self-sufficiency is so lost on the American people, and we've forgotten that we can grow food. Now it takes some time, but oftentimes you can get some seeds for free. It rains usually, I mean, we live in Maryland and other places have, different water situations, but Maryland, there's plenty of water here. It rains. I mean, and in many, actually in fun fact, in many urban areas, you can raise chickens. In Baltimore, you can raise chickens, for example, in the city. You can have a chicken coop. You can have, I think, up to 4 chickens legally, they're governing your property, but you can have chickens. So food is something that you can source yourself. So some basic nutrition, some basic substance. It may not be steak, it may not be prime rib or filet mignon, whatever, but it's something to feed you. And I think a lot of that is lost on us in a lot of different ways.
Hey, Logic, did you know that the reason why that people buy so much garbage having to do with SNAP benefits and all that good stuff is because people, not only the aspect of growing food, a lot of people don't know how to cook. A lot of people, a lot of the young ladies today can't make eggs. It's crazy, some of the stuff that I've seen.
No, you're right.
I mean, really, so her sitting here like, I mean, Bling, tell me, I mean, because I know you are really, really into the natural food aspect of it and all of that good stuff. Can you become the size that this chick was eating food that you grow?
No,
I mean,
not because you're going to be.
That's my point.
You're going to be engaging in physical work, okay? And she's obviously got 2 things going on. She is not getting a lot of exercise at all, and she is eating excessive amounts of food,
processed stuff,
processed food,
stuff will kill you.
So her heart's working overtime, her cholesterol, and she probably is she's probably in her early 30s.
That's what I was thinking. She might be in her late 20s.
She might be in her 20s. Yeah. Okay.
Can I ask you seriously? And I know it's because we're doing the show and we're talking about it. That's the underlying motivation here. But reality, at the end of the day, does it matter how you deal with her? There are only 2 ways to deal with her if she's the problem, right? If that person is the problem, you either eliminate her directly or you kill the benefit program. Those are the only 2 solutions for that person. There's no weaning them off. There's no methadone for this sort of existence. There's no getting her to work, clearly. You ain't ever going to convince her to work. She'll hustle. You make her broke. She'll hustle. She won't work. She'll hustle. That's not work, people. That's a totally different thing because it has no morals and no ethics, and it's not about meritocracy. It's about getting by to get by.
I agree with you, Gimpy. I agree with you. That's why I said what I said earlier.
Why she's 250 pounds. Let her get diabetes. Let her wallow in her own moo-moo on the couch watching Oprah. I'm just saying, like, I don't care. She's not in my way. She's not taking up space on that. She's not taking up extra resources that we need.
Well, I disagree, man, because
in her space and away from us.
She is in your pockets, man.
No, she's not. They're not going to give me less taxes if we kill welfare. They'll find another way to take that tax money out of us anyhow. It does not matter. Tell me, Bling, would they lower, if they killed the program, would taxes that go to the $36 that we each pay on average to the welfare program at SNAP level, would they refund us that $36?
Well, let me add to something first, Gimpy, because what we're talking about too it's not just the food, it is the health part as well. Because if you think about what's going on, especially the whole reason for this government shutdown of maintaining subsidies for the Affordable Care Act, right, or increasing them and sending them to illegals, a lot of the food that these people are getting creates an unhealthy lifestyle, which has led to a lot of these illnesses and ailments that people are now getting treated for that are being covered by this Affordable Care Act and all these, these medications. So this whole ecosystem of unhealthy food, bad diets, we're just giving them slop, giving pigs slop basically, and then trying to tell them to stay healthy. It's all coming out of your pockets.
It's going to come out of my pocket anyhow. Like, I'm sorry, I don't buy into it that we get enough of them. We're never going to get enough of them to get off these programs in any meaningful way or to live healthy lifestyles. Dude, listen to what we would have to do, in my opinion. You can argue me wrong. We would have to control exactly how they spent every benefit dollar, which means that you would get all sorts of pushback from that. You can't tell me how I should eat, dude, you would have complete problematic. Now, eventually it would settle down because you would enforce it. Sure. But that's one step closer to the government being able to tell you the next thing, and then the next thing, and then the next thing.
Well, we're already at that point, aren't we? If the government is feeding you,
I'd just rather shelf them and keep them shelved. It's simpler.
What you got, soldiers?
Big to manage anymore, unless you want the negative consequence which comes with just shutting down the program altogether, dude. And if you're not ready for that, I'm sorry, I don't mean to go ahead, Ty. I'm just saying, if you're not ready for havoc from the poor, because historically, when you're not feeding your poor, they're rioting in your streets.
That is true. And I just wanted to go back to what you were saying about the taxes. You would have to do it in the reverse order. So you'd have to have a president and a Congress that were willing to lower taxes, and then you just can't get, blood from a stone. But as we saw when taxes were lowered in the first Trump administration, a lot of people said, "Oh, I didn't see that." The reason you didn't see it is because your states came back and raised your taxes. Okay. So they found that there was going to be a little bit more money in your pocket, and they decided that even though the feds gave it back, they would take it. So there are all kinds of sleights of hand out there. And remember, in your day-to-day life, you're dealing with 3 governments at any given time: local, state, and federal. And I'll just go back. As far as that woman and people like her, you're not going to change. How is she going to go from that to productive citizen who is self-sufficient? So when you're that deep into that type of mindset, it's a point where it just becomes irredeemable. Now, am I saying that all of the 42 million on the program are like that? I'm not suggesting that, but apparently over the last week or so, we have seen a lot of folk who represent that mindset out there telling you exactly how they feel.
Now, I want to provide a counter to what you guys are saying. And there's people out here that have posted videos about how the government shutdown has positively affected them. And it's almost like this whole idea of Operation Let Them Speak is working. I don't know if you guys remember back when Trump got elected in 2024, the ladies promoting like the 4B movement. You guys remember that?
Yep.
Roe v. Wade was overturned, and when Trump was running again, of course, all these women were saying, women's rights were going away now that Trump was reelected, right? And in protest, they were saying, "Well, we're not going to have sex." I'm like, "Well, yes, okay, well, that's good." Right. And people are now saying, with even with the government shutdowns, like I'm gonna have to go to work. I'm gonna play this clip first, and then I'm gonna play the testimonial. So I'm gonna play it.
So you think the food stamps thing isn't a problem, but my nephew, my brother, may struggle to feed my nephew if they don't get food stamps, even if WIC comes through. That's enough for my nephew. What is my brother supposed to do, or his wife, or their roommate, or their roommate's son? What is my family supposed to do? My mom, who's on disability because she had a stroke and she can hardly get around, and can't work a job, like a full-time job, has been door dashing to put money back in the bank to prepare for November, since we most likely won't be getting food stamps. Yet it's not a problem to you people. My mother's going out and putting herself in pain, but it's not a problem. Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
She mentioned something key. she said if he doesn't get the food stamps, then maybe WIC will come through. This is a part that we haven't discussed. The multi-layered programs.
But what about her saying that her mom has to go back to work?
No, let me do this, and then let me just do this real quick. There are 16 major federal nutrition assistance programs. So you got SNAP, WIC, National School Lunch Program, Summer Food Service Program, Child and Adult Care Food Program, Commodity Supplemental Food Program. It goes on and on. Okay?
And clearly these women are getting all of them.
Oh, they know about them. And I knew about WIC, but I had no idea about these other 15 or 14. So this thing is multi-layered, man.
Yeah, but they're all broke, so it's okay.
Right.
Like if you're looking at it from that perspective, they're all out of money this month. It's just SNAP is the one that funds them all.
Right.
Like it's these are all under the umbrella of SNAP. Like that's,
well, that's
SNAP.
Because they can come out and say food stamps, and everybody's familiar with that.
Yeah. I just want to point out, like, the reason why I say these people are irredeemable, I'll show you from that video, from that clip. I'll give you a line by line why that woman demonstrates you can't save her. Like you couldn't do anything you would have to literally reprogram her, because the answer is right in front of you. You know how your brother, his kid, his wife, their roommate, their kid, they all go get jobs, they all pool the money together, and they all live communally under the roof and take care of each other like a family. Like you're mad that your mom's driving DoorDash, so why aren't you doing the DoorDash so your mom can stay home and take care of the kid that you're taking care of? Why are you doing it backwards, that you're making the stroke victim do the DoorDashing part when you can do the DoorDashing part? Because again, these are my demonstrations that why it's just easier to turn the spigot back on and make them forgotten. They are the forgotten part of society. You all can pretend we care, but we don't. We want them there. So they're not in line with us. They're the people of Walmart. We laugh at these people generally. Like, look, I'm a realist. I'm not evil. I want to give poor and help and whatever. But to keep thinking that you're going to magically make the bottom 20% all of a sudden after 3 generations of collecting these checks, man, in the same household, like you guys are insane.
Well, no. Even
stop smoking crack after 40 years.
Christ said the poor will always be among us. And look, real quick, and I'll let you go, Reason. That woman, okay, I think no one would disagree with characterizing her as morbidly obese. And I'm not trying to be. That's a medical term. I'm not trying to be funny,
dude. She was just hella fat.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yo, I mean, I've never seen someone who
she had her own gravitational pull.
It's like face fat like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
dude, I couldn't tell where her chin ended and her second chin began.
So at LJ 89040, I appreciate you. This girl needs a 1,200 calorie a day diet. Well, to lose 1 pound, you have to drop 500 calories. It's 3,500 calories total for 1 pound over so I'm sitting here like she would probably have to do more in the numbers say 12, 24, 36. So double that. And she would lose 14 pounds in a week. So, triple that and she'd lose 14 pounds in a week. So, I mean,
she has roles hiding roles. I don't know. Like, this is what I'm saying. I want to concern myself with these people. I want them to go back to the shadows and the edges of society where they didn't get in my way. And I laughed at them and how they acted in Walmart because people would videotape it and post it to X.
That young woman,
they became
unfortunately, she's uncomfortably obese. You ever see a guy?
No, dude, she's comfortably obese, man.
No, I mean it's uncomfortable.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
She has a gravitational pull. She has satellites orbiting her ass. Doesn't matter. Why are we concerned with this loser? Because she put a video on the. I'm not. Look, I understand the underlying thing. We're making a podcast here, but as a society,
then if you know that,
people don't want to be more than what they are.
Well, Gimpy, you would have to agree with this.
Why do we care to make them more?
Gimpy, you would have to agree with this, that as the population that she represents grows, and believe me, like we discussed, this 501c3 mafia is definitely trying to, and politicians are trying to grow that dependent class. I mean, it might not happen in our lifetimes, but that definitely puts an expiration date on the.
Okay, then we all agree we're ready for the alternative. Like again, I'm a realist. Then fine, let's end the programs. keep the toasters on the shelf is my take, correct? But like, let's end the programs and be prepared to suppress the food riots, right? No American who voted for the ending of the food programs can be upset of what comes next when they have to suppress these riots, right? Remember, we have fired on our own civilians to suppress riots. The Navy bombarded Manhattan during the Civil War to suppress riots, right? Like, it's not an unheard of thing for them to drop bombs on their own citizens. So again, we all have to be ready for that, because when people are starving hand to mouth and we're not feeding them, they will do crazy ass shit.
These people aren't starving. They're talking about this before they're even hungry
anymore.
Right,
before they're even hungry.
Live without it. You're not. It's not like they're not capable of doing it. You're misunderstanding what I'm saying. They are not capable of doing it because they don't know how. They have no skill set to figure it out. They're hustlers. They're they will revert and resort to the easiest answers to all problems, which is crime.
Yeah.
Very.
I disagree. Listen, man, I disagree with you. But I want to play this. I want to play this next clip. I'm only going to play a little bit of part of it because it is pretty. I think it's more inspirational than anything. There's a young lady that's talking about, how she didn't have SNAP benefits, what have you. And I just want you guys to show what she did.
Can I say this first? More chins than a Chinese phone book. All right, go ahead. Play.
Oh yeah, I like that.
In Missouri,
Terrible.
That's the most racist thing.
Entire SNAP benefits will be shut down in November. Nobody will qualify for any type of assistance November 1st. Yeah, they claim it's because of the government shutdown, but no matter how it goes, I'm gonna tell you why you're gonna be able to survive with this shutdown. Okay, so check it. Me, I'm a mom who is very much kept. I didn't want to go to work. Okay, I stayed at home with my kids, 4 children. My husband worked. Okay, so that's a family of 6. We have not had food stamps for over a year. Mm-hmm. And yes, we pay the rents that you pay too. Mm-hmm. We have figured out what we had to release in order to gain. Follow me, okay? I had my car repoed because I couldn't afford it. I was homeless before that, so I'm not gonna go back to being homeless, right? Right. I gave up the car. Car was $600 a month. The insurance was $400 a month. Plus always putting gas in that mug. Plus maintenance, you feel me? Okay? Where we live at, pay $1,800 a month. I know, asinine. And the place has been up since 1984, but you know what? We need a shelter. Check. But do we really need this car? You gonna say, yeah, because I need to get around. No, you have a bus, a train system. You have Lyft, you have Uber. In St. Louis, you have Via, which is rideshare. So you're gonna have to learn how to get along with people, okay? Then you have your feet. Your feet. God bless you with feet. Walk. Get your fat ass up and go out and walk. Then your hip won't be hurting. You won't be so fucking fat, because I used to be 400 pounds. Now that my ass got to walk everywhere, now I'm 186. But anyway.
I'm sorry. This just assumes people want better. Like, a lot of these people who are, especially multi-generational households, I will target that. It doesn't matter what race you are. If you're a multi-generational household of welfare, SNAP program and all of it, and you're living 3-4 generations under the same roof collecting benefits that none of you can provide, none of you know how, and you have every whatever, her advice isn't going to change anything for you unless you want to wake up one day under the harsh reality you don't have it and you decide. But other than that, these people are not going to do that. They're going to blame everyone else. They're going to continue with what they've gotten by with till now. The states are scrambling to give them something to fill the void with emergency this and emergency that. And dude, these people are going to feel like they're entitled. And as long as they think it's an entitlement, they're never going to do what this lady wants, like is inspiring them to do.
I think this is where I'm a bit naive, and forgive me, right? One of the things that people often say is, well, they don't know how to do it. Oh, well, they don't know, or they don't want to do it. Man,
they tell us this.
Oftentimes it's because you haven't seen anything. Oftentimes because you haven't seen a different way. And I do think there's a responsibility that we should show people. Now, if they we don't really care if they follow per se, but it is a responsibility to say, hey, there is another way. There's another way you can do this.
Well, hold on. Go ahead.
There's opportunities out here that maybe you're not taking advantage of. Now, I'm not going to be pulling you if you don't want to go. However, I don't think we should shy away from saying there's a different way you can do this.
Hold
Here's how to do it. and let's go. What would you guys?
All right. Do we need to tell adults that? Because one of the things, and I've had this discussion with you. One of the things that we did when I was young, they simply would put us in the car and we drive out to horse country. And we just drive out there. Nothing, it was just a drive. We do it like almost every weekend. And as a child, I understood, okay, well, there are people living like this. So there's a path to get from where I am in West Baltimore to owning a horse, maybe, okay, and having a lot of land. That I had no plan on how to do that as a child, but I clearly understood that this was possible. Okay, that circumstances could change, that people lived differently. Okay, and as you got older, you started to understand money, and that being the difference between having and not having. Okay, so I think, and you said it. You said maybe you're being naive. I think you are being a little naive to think that an adult can't put those pieces together and say, you know what? There are paths to change my circumstances. And look, I'm dating myself, but today, there's much more opportunity. It's a different type of opportunity.
Let me ask, can you get apple juice from an orange?
No, you can't. Not to my knowledge.
if you never seen an apple or never seen that there's something different, how can I expect you to make apple juice?
Is that a general question or a straight?
It's just general, but
because
I understand you get to an adult, right? Even the algorithms feed you.
That's my point.
Echo chamber information, right? So if you've never seen anything different, how are you expected to know something different? I do think we have to give a little bit of grace and compassion to people who have never seen anything different.
Hold on 1 second, Gimpy. Give me just 1 second. All right, so now you're adding
poor.
Give me just 1 second, Gimpy. So now you're adding a qualification.
Yeah.
You're adding something to it now, because initially you just said, that people were having a hard time figuring out how to, or whether or not something was possible. So, okay, sure. If you're coming up as a child in a household with someone who's drug addicted and, okay, right. Now it is going to be exceedingly difficult for you to break out of a generational circumstance.
But it's not impossible. And
not impossible.
Yeah, but that's
what I think. That's what I think.
You're making a massive assumption with your statement. You're saying that positive vibes and feel goods will override the reality we live in, which is 80 years in run. Yes, because it's not yesterday. Welfare isn't new. It's been around since LBJ, and it's only been getting worse, not better. And we have more people invested in trying to get these people off. Because for every bad 501c3, there are still a good charity out there doing the honest work, like you pointed out earlier.
So who's invested in trying to get these people off?
All these people who are multi-generational welfare have been exposed to this positive vibe and feel good, showing them the apple when all they have is oranges, the allegory in the cave. And like the allegory in the cave, the enlightened, unchained people are chased out of the chained communities. Okay? Just like the allegory in the cave, the enlightened are considered insane by those who are still dancing at shadows on the wall. So you can say what you're saying, but we have whatever amount of years at this point proof that given all these resources, we still have happily multi-generational entitlement, thinking that this is their life, that everyone else should pay. Listen to what they are saying. Don't just want what you want.
So to your point,
telling us we should pay for them. I've had food stamps for 15 years. You have no way. You can't cut that off from me. There are 3 generations of food stamps in my house. Go to EBT of TikTok on X, watch some of those videos, and then tell me those people give a rat's ass.
So to your point, Gippy, we should just have slavery again, because the whole thing about Harriet Tubman, I would have freed more slaves if only they knew they were slaves. Now you can, whether you want to believe the Harriet Tubman story, what have you, but that is a real mentality. So what you're saying is we should just write these people off. We shouldn't even try because they want to be slaves, and we should maintain the institution of slavery because there were slaves that wanted to continue being slaves.
You still want to go in there and do all your goodness. I'm not getting in the way of your American dream. I'm a big believer as Americans, you're allowed to live your American dream, especially one that helps the country versus negative one. So I encourage you to continue to be the dreamer and believer in the underprivileged and saving everyone. My point is stop turning off the benefits. Stop fucking with the system that's so fragile already. Give these people their benefits. Keep the opiate of the masses, opiate. Keep them drugged on their food stamps and their welfare. And if you can get a few of them to get out of that, great. But I don't want to have to worry about people taking the bus and a poor little white girl getting stabbed in the neck, or people getting pushed off the platform because people are crazy. They're looking for their next meal. Enough.
That's happening now. That's happening with the benefits.
The benefit system.
We Logic, you speak about slavery, but honestly, we do still have slavery in America, and it's multifaceted. Okay,
it's right here. We're talking about it now.
Yeah, I mean, we are, because think about it.
At any point, they can choose to not, but they have to make the choice. We can't pull the IV out of their friggin' arm.
Look, there were a lot of slaves that decided that they were going to stay on the plantation, okay, because there was no infrastructure set up to transition people from slavery to, participating fully in the economy. So that's kind of what you're seeing here, is that people are just choosing to stay on a system that economically benefits large corporations, okay? Because guess what? The SNAP recipients, they're eating better than us, okay? The studies have shown that they're buying higher quality food than we are. I haven't had Alaskan crab legs in years, all right? But that's one of the big sellers for SNAP.
Dude,
so,
it's pour straight to the pockets of the corporations.
Right.
All welfare money gets spent. It is all money that it charges the engine of the day-to-day economy. It is 13% of grocery stores' monthly sales. And I'm not saying that if you cut it off, there's not going to buy food. But you take 13% of everybody's sales from an industry that has a 2% margin, you are literally saying you're happy to tank a whole industry. Because
Look.
Hold on. Shout out to Positive Vibes with the $2 super chat. Yes, Black conservatives matter. Love you guys. We appreciate you very much. Positive Vibes. Thank you.
Absolutely. The bottom line is this: poverty is extremely lucrative. Okay, a lot of people make a lot of money off of poverty, be they corporations, be they again 501c3 mafia, and I'm who am I to oppose what Christ had to say? The poor will always be among us. So talking about it in an academic sense is interesting, but I do have to agree with Gimpy that we're not going to change things. Look, in 1964, we had 190 million people in this country and a poverty rate of 19%. In 2024, we got 325 million people in the country and a poverty rate of 12%. So real number wise, it really hasn't moved. Okay. So this is a problem. I don't think that the powers that be see it as a problem. I think they see it as an opportunity.
Who are the powers that be then?
Oh, like I said, you got for the Republicans, you got the Chamber of Commerce, right? So remember, that's the Republican arm that wants to see illegal immigration, for example, because you can if you establish a permanent underclass, you can pay them less. That benefits corporations and shareholders. Then you got the Democrats who are also with that, but then they see it as an opportunity to pump up their voter rolls. Okay, corporations benefit. Okay, so again, 501c3. So there's your powers that be. Wealthy individuals and very powerful legislators.
Man, I just think we should be an example and a direction to what I'm calling economic independence. And I just think the more people you get towards economic independence, the better for the country. And I just don't believe in writing people off because I wouldn't want anybody to write me off. I understand that there's people in certain situations. You can't save everybody. I'm not naive to think that you can save everyone, but I do think you should be an example of what to do, and you should share that information if somebody's willing to learn. But real quick, I do want to.
If somebody's willing to learn, Logic, do you think that girl you showed?
It doesn't matter if it's that girl, right? It doesn't matter if it's that girl. But somebody in that in her sphere may consider. Look, there may be a different way, and start asking questions, and then that's the one that may reach her if that's in the cards. What I'm saying is not to write people off.
You are, and I give you.
I'm not going to care more about people than they do themselves, buddy.
I'm not either.
I will give you props
because no. So you guys are miscategorizing what I'm saying. What you guys are writing these people off. These are the lowest of society. Don't worry about it.
Logic,
no. I'm saying you should constantly be an example. You should talk to these people, and that's the whole reason we're here, is to bring back shame to these things, because these are the things that help people change their course and direction.
Logic, you just said you can stand as an example, and you're doing a great job of that. Okay, standing as a family man, a very productive member of this society. Okay, you reach out and you try to be instrumental in making positive change. But let me caution you. Okay, there's a fine line between that and winding up becoming Ahab, okay, or Don Quixote, and just constantly chasing something. Look, these problems are not new. They predate all of us. So you're the danger.
Let your light shine. That's what I'm doing.
The danger for you.
I agree.
Let me just finish this. The danger for you is that you get sucked into this, chasing that white whale. And at the end of your days, when the problems that we're talking about now are even more exacerbated, you feeling unfulfilled because nothing has changed for the better.
No, that's a matter of purpose and calling. I think that's a different conversation. But doing what you're supposed to do, I'm not here to save the world. I can't do that. But all I can do is my part.
Yeah, but again, you keep saying right off, and I think you misunderstand for sure what I'm saying. I think Tyrone's in the same boat with me on this. I don't mean write them off that you don't try and continue. It's you have to accept that a certain portion of society is going to have to be managed. They're not going to be contributing. They're not going to be wealthy. They're not going to offer anything to the codex. It's the price of having a hyper-capitalist society, of what we exist in right now. It is the cost, because there are haves and there are have-nots. And in a place where you can earn as much as you want endlessly, there will be people who lose as much as they can't handle endlessly. That's how it works. Okay, so when we go to our have-nots now, and they have 80 years basically of handouts, and you're living in homes where you see grandma all the way down to great-grandkid are on welfare, the system has failed. Mm-hmm. It has failed. Because that's not one house, that's not two houses. It's a significant enough percentage to be a stereotype. Okay, we'll just leave it at that to make it as non-aggressive a statement as possible. You cannot say you can turn off that system or you can expect them to do better. You know why? Because without reorganizing the whole system around that plan, just turning off the faucet, which is what's going on currently, is the biggest mistake, because it feeds all the negatives. It feeds every conspiracy nut who thinks Trump wants to be a king. You give him an excuse. The minute there's 5 cities with riots, he gets to declare a national emergency and put the National Guard on every street. Now, we might not be mad because we're law-abiding citizens, but the people who are very against Trump, they're just walking into what they're saying he wants to do by behaving in this way. That's one key element negative. I just want to throw out here all the you then have the economic negatives. Yes, stores won't go out of business. Mom and pops will. The businesses that can't withstand losing their 2% margin for a few weeks while they work out the SNAP things, those are the people at risk. So that's more of the damage from COVID-19 will continue, where the small businesses, the corner bodegas, the places where EBT, on top of the fact there's an entire black market economy where people change hard currency for EBT dollars on pennies on the dollar. Now, you might not like that.
Yeah, that's very true.
Huge, multi-billion-dollar market. Changing hands of currency, and that is an important undercurrent of the economy.
Is why that is one of the main reasons you see these women out here complaining. They're not afraid of not being able to buy food. These people that are coming out and doing these TikToks, they're pissed off because you're interrupting a cash flow business. They go and they sell the food stamps for 50 cents on the dollar. That is real.
Food stamps gone. Section 8 gone. All your SNAP and EBT benefits gone. Now you got to go back to Tyrone. Woo! I think this is great. We have just single-handedly saved the black family. Why? Because Tasha can't run out on Tyrone anytime she get mad and think the government going to take care of her. Tasha can't leave Tyrone and think that the kids going to eat. Tasha can't leave Tyrone and think she's going to get a free rent. Tasha can't depend on the government, because years ago, black women turned their back on black men
for government assistance, for food stamps, for Section 8, for welfare, for WIC, for all the things that black men bring into their household. They said, no, we don't need that. I'll go file to the government and they'll give it to me. Trump said, hell no. Woo! Now they're going to have to start choosing better. Woo! Now women are going to have babies with men that actually want to have babies with them. Woo! Now women are going to have to vet their partners and not be able to just hit them up for a check every time and think they can live off the government. Woo! This shit amazing. You're going to see more wives and less baby mamas. You're going to see more two-parent households because it's going to be a family unit, because success is a team sport. You're going to see women go back to their men, go back to their child's father and try to work things out and not childishly run out to the next nigga. Why? Because Donald Trump and the government don't got your back no more. Because you can't go over there and get free food stamps and sell them bitches 40 for the 80. Because you don't have a $72 rent anymore. Because now you're going to have to figure it out. And the only person that's left is that black man that you walked out on years ago. And the price of pussy going down too. Donald Trump did it with this one, and I'm here for it. Queens, go back to your kings and work it out. Baby mamas, go back to your baby daddies and become wives. It's time for us to work together. This is actually amazing. No longer will you be incentivized by quitting on your household. No longer will you be incentivized by quitting on your marriage. No longer will you be incentivized by quitting on that black man. You are no longer incentivized to leave. So baby, you either pay or stay.
So Tyrone, I want you to get your immediate reaction. I mean, he
All
mentioned the black market.
Yes.
But does this help change course and direction?
Well, let me just say that you have triggered some childhood trauma for me. My brothers are named Wayne, David, and Michael. And I would often ask my mother, why? Why did you saddle me with the liquor store holdup name? Okay. But so thank you for that. Thank you for triggering that.
You're welcome.
Logic. But hey, look, that guy, essentially, a lot of what he said. Now we know that this program is going to be reactivated, right?
I mean, it's already
right. Okay, so what he's saying is true, but we won't get to realize that because the program is going to be reactivated. But look, the 80-20 rule, that's damn near a universal constant. That really is, when you look at systems and organizations, that 80-20 rule is rock solid. You can bet on it. And look, I mean, I guess this is the price you have to pay. And it's Lyndon B. Johnson's fault, right? Because he instituted these programs and he said it. I mean, Lyndon B. Johnson said, I will have these niggas voting Democrat for the next 200 years. That's a quote.
Yep.
Okay. And hell, what is he, like 60 years in now? Okay. So, and look how they're actually fighting, expending more energy and fighting to stay dependent than they have in terms of fighting to seize opportunity in order to become independent.
Absolutely. So, Reason, when you see that clip though, man, I mean, he laid out a few points, man. How do you respond?
How do I respond? First, he's a great creator. I've been following, comedy creator. I've been following him for a little while. What he's saying isn't new. I said it 2 years ago. I said this exact same thing 2 years ago. I said if you want to fix the black community, I said cut this off. Now I'm specifically talking about the black community. I know everybody deals with this, but we're responding to this video, so I'm specifically talking about the black community. I said that would fix that 3 years ago. I mean, I think I said that back in Great Thoughts Matter. Like it was you. That was a little while ago when I made that statement. You fix the black community, you force people to be like, you know what? It goes along with everything else. You know what? If you don't want to deal with that, you know, it would force you to make better choices on, you know, the people that you choose, because you actually choose these people. You know what I mean? It would force you to keep your legs closed. The only thing that's open after 2 a.m. is hospitals and legs. I mean, it would force you to make better decisions on the. It affects everything. It affects, you know, children. It affects your home. It affects what you eat. With snapping EBT, get rid of the whole thing. And I said, and give it enough time.
So what you're saying is go with the nuclear option. I mean, you're saying go with the nuclear option of just cut it off and see what happens.
Okay, so understand. I mean, you and I are both Gen X, right?
Do you think there will be the food riots that Gimpy mentioned?
Do I think that would be the food riots that Gimpy mentioned?
Do you think?
Go ahead.
Do you think cutting off the benefits? Do you think? Let me ask you this: do you think Keisha is more likely to go back to Ray Ray? I was going to use Tyrone, but do you think? Well, I'm gonna call it Bonquisha too. Do you think Bonquisha is more likely to go back to Ray Ray when her food stamps is cut off versus go and riot?
And riot. Okay, so this might sound really, really bad, and I mean 100% of what I'm about to say, it's a win-win situation. If Bumquisha goes back to Ray Ray, good. If Bumquisha decides to riot at Walmart, good, because it will be handled by the police. So one of two things happen, okay? Either over time, Bumquisha chooses to go back and families get better, or enough Bumquishas go to Walmart and Target and try to steal, law enforcement handles it, and buy a dog, die alone. I mean, it's a win-win situation either way. That's how I look at it. I have no remorse or regret for any of them. Like I said, I'm Gen X. We were raised by, boomers, and boomers screwed a whole bunch of stuff up having to do with how we handled relationships and the government and all of that good stuff. And I've been at a mindset of burn it for a long time now. And y'all know this. I don't think we are at a point in which people are redeemable like that. Just burn the fucking thing.
Man, look, all I'm saying, I'm not God, man.
I have been going at this and I've sat quietly. Let me just 30 seconds. I'm finished. I promise. There is a remnant of us that are left that are saying, you know what, the revolution shall not be televised. Okay. While you guys are all out there saying we're going to riot and do this and do that, we're secretly hoping you do, because we're creating a new generation. We are, of married Black families, and creating a completely different culture. And quite frankly, another 50 years from now, the group of you have a group of people that actually believe in their name. Their name means something to them. And I'm telling you, 2 generations from now, the group that believes in their name will have a completely different society. And that talented 10th that was being talked about by W. Du Bois will be looking down like, y'all are descendants of these people. And that's how I feel about it. And it is what it is. Call me whatever you want to call me.
So I'm going to save my food riots for when they try to feed me cricket cakes.
Okay, that's a separate issue altogether. But
it's a good time to play the
again,
food riot card.
You guys are also assuming that positive results come. Even if she goes back to Pookie and Ray Ray, those people were awful human beings to begin with. They didn't get together because they were looking to start families. So forcing them back together after they've been apart does not guarantee any. In fact, there's more likely to have negative outcomes. Look, dude, at the end of the day, you guys keep thinking that naively, thinking that people, you just don't trust people when they tell you who and what they are is clearly what it comes down to, honestly. Like these people tell you they're degenerates. They say
I'm not being naive at all, Gimpy. I think burn it all.
And they want to wallow in their own shit, wearing muumuus on their couch and be 600 pounds collecting checks. They don't want to work.
I'm not being naive at all, Gimpy. I'm saying burn it all.
Or not to. So
I'm not being naive at all, Gimpy. I'm saying burn it all.
Oh, I know what you're saying.
I'm saying burn it all.
I'm talking to Jay on this. You go do your right thing, but tell me, when do you start believing these people when they tell you, because they've told you to your face, what sort of pieces of shit they are? Because they tell us to our faces every day what sort of degenerate lifestyles they want to lead. And you just keep saying, you know better. Don't you think, don't you realize from their position how condescending that sounds? And the only reason why I know this is because I get to witness it on CT's goddamn panel all the time with JP. He looks down on everyone who talks to him the way you talk to him. You would talk to him about giving him an opportunity, a hand up and all. He thinks you're just pushing your lifestyle on him. He likes his lifestyle. It's the JPs of the world.
Listen, man, I'm always saying that there's an option. There is an option. And I understand there's going to be people that say no to the option. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is, why are we designing a system to cater to those people versus the people that want to succeed?
But again,
hold on. Gibby said we've created this system now that they're all dependent upon. Why cut it off? Because it's catering to the lowest. Why are they dictating?
They just get lucky from.
Hold on. It's not catering to the recipients of the welfare. It's keeping them in a state of dependency where they will never achieve self-actualization, okay? But at the same time, it is catering to Walmart, Target, Kroger, okay?
Every bodega in every hood.
And also understand that in a tangential way, it also contributes to the vast law enforcement industrial complex as well. Because there is an element of criminality when you get into selling your food stamps, okay? Lee nails, they don't accept food stamps. So in order to get your nails did, you have to come there with money. So that's why you sell your food stamps, okay? So there's an entire economic ecosphere that is benefiting Fortune 500 corporations on down to the Korean nail shop and everything in between.
Dude,
so
and
one second, Gibby. So there are beneficiaries of this apparatus. The recipients of the welfare, they're just being used as the vehicle. Go ahead, buy your crab legs if that means that Walmart can see a few more points on their, returns.
Yeah, but it benefits us that happens. Look, we're talking about
it benefits
us for. Do you like your sales on 80-inch televisions come Christmas time to go put the new one on the wall? You know how they can do that? Because they get guaranteed influx of revenue every month through guaranteed subsidies like welfare. I'm sorry, the reason why we get cheap goods and services is because the poor don't struggle. They can afford to buy into this shit. So now the price of things comes down as a result. It's insane to attack our economic system at the core. Welfare is a core element. We use it in all sorts of things: corporate welfare, individual welfare, tax breaks. We have welfare across the board. And you're targeting degenerates. Like you're saying, the lowest of the low, you want to pick them up and fix that welfare problem. There's much bigger welfare problems you can fix. And not those people who say to your face that they like living this way.
Look at the S&P 500.
I am not speaking directly to the person. I am speaking to someone that may be watching this person, that may be out there listening, that may be seeing this person. Again, when you're in a debate, you never are trying to convince that other person. I know these people are maybe lost causes or what have you, but there's always you guys have seen something on the internet or something that has changed your way of thinking about something. That's never happened to. Hold on. Has that ever happened to you?
That's true. That's true.
Has that ever happened?
It's happened.
All I'm saying is, oftentimes people need something to see. People need a conversation, and I'm not saying everybody's going to receive it. I'm not saying go talk to everybody, but what I am saying, don't shy away from the conversation.
So you're suggesting that you who has a tight nuclear family, you fought through adversity to get where you are. You got yourself educated. You have a career. Okay. You're going to reason with those two women that you featured in the clips, and you're going to say something.
You're clearly not
listening. Hold on.
Clearly not listening to what I said.
Just 1 second. You are going to say something that is more impactful than the effect that the system has on them. Okay. Because remember, you're one guy
didn't hear what I said.
A system, a very well-established system.
No, I get it. He's looking for the tertiary effect. That's what he's looking to attack this problem, hoping that in the audience, in the vastness of the internet, he ripples out the ripple effect, triggers change. Fine, good luck. But I'll stand on my point. I'm not going to stop you from doing that. That's good for the country I want to live in. I encourage you to do that. But if you think you can fix the welfare problem in this country, I'm not saying you. I'm, again, not talking to you. I'm talking to the audience, sir. I'm following your lead. I'm not talking directly to the right. I'm just saying, like, if anyone thinks that by cutting off benefits or vastly overhauling the system in a way that makes more than half of that 42 million people lose their benefits or whatever. And some of the shit that you just hear people saying about this, let's just go to the conversations you hear spinning around this and how everyone's eager to have it cut off. And because I was very eager in the beginning till I started listening to these people and what they say and how they say, I'm happier for them to be drugged up on their handouts, living in their 5 city blocks and staying there for all eternity than stabbing white girls on the bus who are coming home from work.
Let me ask you this, Jimmy. How much are you willing to pay to maintain that?
Unlimited amount of money. In the current system, an unlimited amount of money.
No, how much are you personally? How much of your check? What percentage of your check on a monthly?
We don't have to decide that.
No, you do because it's your money. It's your money. No. But answer the question. No, Tyrone. I was asking. Give me a question. Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
I was asking. Give me a question.
I'll personally.
How much of your how much a percentage of your check do you want to go towards this?
Yeah, I'll just follow my people's lead, and I'm willing to give 10% of my earnings to keep poor people out of my hair.
Okay, soldiers. How much of your check?
The question is
how much of your check are you willing to give to have those people leave?
I heard the question. You don't want the true answer. The true answer is
just answer the question.
Let me answer it. I don't get to decide that. The IRS says we're taking this.
If you
Okay.
could.
So I can say 5%, but the IRS doesn't give a damn. The government of the United States of America has already decided.
And that's the problem. And that's the big problem.
No. He's trying to win a moral argument with me and you, saying
Right.
we're more than happy to keep the spigot flowing, but how much of it are we really willing to fund ourselves, right? Because we live in the position that it doesn't really matter whether it's funded or not. Our taxes don't change, right? That's what we say. Dude, I'll give 10%, just like you're supposed to say in the thing. I give 10% of my money freely every year to the poor. I don't need them to take it from me by force, because I agree like you that you should live that way. But again, that's not what we're conceptually talking about. You show these women who are telling you, they may as well say, I am a fucking degenerate. I demand degenerate funding in order to live my degenerate lifestyle, or I'm going to bring all my problems and make them the normal people's problem. See, that's where the problem is that they're not going to stay in their bubble where no one has to pay attention to them and they can be degenerates all they like. They want to bring it out. That's where the problem is. So that when that becomes a problem, it's either you're going to be okay with putting them back in the box by force, or you give them what keeps them there voluntarily.
And Logic, you are not satisfied with the fact that you are a hell of an example. Okay. If you go back to your days on North and Penn, all right, and then you bring it up to right now, you are a hell of an example. Okay. For anyone that hears your story, you're not satisfied with that. You don't want people to have to do the hard work to come to you and say, hey, brother, let me ask you a question. How'd you achieve what you have? Can you talk to me about that? No, you want to go to a bunch of people that aren't interested in hearing that. Okay. Now you're already serving as a shining example, but like I said, you're read Moby Dick. Ahab is you with regard to this situation.
You're still mischaracterizing me, but that's all right. We'll keep going along with this podcast. But we'll make it happen. You'll see.
That's the thing. No one's
again.
doing good work.
I'm not. Listen, I'm not. How you say? Trying to be in front of an audience that doesn't want to listen. That's not what I'm saying. That's what you're characterizing me as. But I am saying, I am trying to let my light shine in the best way that I know how with the tools God has given me. And that's all I'm doing. Period. Reason.
Toaster. Yes, thank you. See, everybody is buying into my toaster, man. I love this. This is the greatest metaphor invented on the internet. Has nothing to do
you need to get t-shirts printed.
Yeah, absolutely. We are. All right, guys, we're going to shift gears really quick because I want to get out of here. I actually want to start a new segment called Man to Man. Because it's just the guys podcast. I actually want to talk about things a little bit, just masculinity issues and stuff like that. But in light of all this, right? You talk about LBJ and the whole food stamp thing and everything. And one of the things that I think did happen in the civil rights movement and when the welfare system came about was you couldn't have a man in the home. So men were often making a business decision and sacrificing being there with their families to receive the quote unquote benefits. But I want to play this clip in just to kind of get you guys' take on a few things when it comes to sacrifice and masculinity and manhood.
There's certain parts of the happiness you're going to have to give up to make sure the family good. That's part of our journey as men. And you start to realize that, okay, that feeling, that emptiness, that hurt that I had, that's nothing, because I know that I can deal with it. I can take that pain. If that means my son gonna be straight, or my daughter gonna be happy, or my wife good, I'll take that for them. And a lot of men don't get to that point as fast as I guess the world wants us to.
Do you feel like that's going to have an effect on you where it's like you're the only person in the household that's suffering, that's not getting outlet or somebody to lean on?
Hey man, that's why your dad cry when you get grown and you tell him you love him. That's why granddaddy sit there and he don't know what to say when you say, I love you, Pop, and he just, he been holding that. He didn't know that moment was the one that was going to make him, you know what I mean? He been sacrificing for his family for the last 40 years.
Is that healthy though?
So let me tell you, my validation comes in a form of when I walk in the house and my daughter run into me and my son face light up when he see me. Those small things is my validation.
Nah, I'm different. Say it. I need to hear you say it. Why should it only be the women that are getting that throughout their life, and we have to wait until we're in our rocking chair to finally get that verbal validation?
Yeah, I think I've been told so many lies. I'm gonna choose show me.
All right, Reason, I want to start with you first. You know, like he talked about sacrificing for the family, and you know, of course, the whole benefits thing came as a sacrifice, and I think we have sacrificed the family to the government, but not you know, not just in context of that, but what does that sacrifice, I guess, mean for you? And you know, how does that look? How are people dealing with this?
Believe it or not, my wife sent me this. My wife was like, "What do you think of this?" This all depends on, quite frankly, who you choose. It's a two-way part for me. I never ever feel that doing what I have to do for my family that brings me joy. It does, and it also has to do with the people that you choose. I'm lucky to have a wife and 2 daughters. I mean, that literally once a week, twice a week, my daughter's asking, "How is your mental health? Like, how do you feel? I know you do a lot. Like, you work all day, and then you work at night, and you do all of this stuff for us, and you go to all of our volleyball stuff, and you do all of our, how's your mental health?" And I always say the exact same thing. When I'm around you guys and we're all together, that's when I'm at my happiest. Like, I don't feel the gentleman said, "Is that healthy?" Well, let's completely take the emotional and psychological aspect out of it, and let's talk about it physically. Jay, you're one that's in the gym, right? Me, I've been going clean for a little while now. It feels like the what's coming in, the fuel is good fuel in, makes good fuel out. If you take care of yourself, if you eat right, if you do all of that good stuff, what would be considered the unhealthy side effects of whatever that would be is countered by you just taking care of yourself. I mean, that's how I see the other side of that. But really, no. I never mind doing anything. You get to a specific age as a man, and your mindset changes completely. That whole chasing women thing is like, man, fuck all that. It's wow. This is the young lady that I want to spend the rest of my life with. Holy cow. I want to be a better person because she's proven to me that, you know what? She's worth the ring. And she's going to make sure that I have nothing to worry about. When I get home, I'm never stressed. I'm not. I mean, I do from 11 o'clock to midnight almost every day. And then on the weekend, and it's crazy. And I come home and I'm looking forward to coming home.
All right. So Soldiers, you had a completely different view. Now, Reason, I think, gave a lot of touchy-feely stuff. And I think, Tyrone, you have a completely different view. So go ahead.
Well, I have a different experience. Coming up, someone asked me about a week ago, we just had a general conversation. Someone asked me, did my brothers and I get beatings? And I said, no, we didn't. We got grabbed by the collar, put up against the wall, and maybe got a shot to the solar plexus. I was raised by almost all of the men in my family were in the military. About half of them were combat vets. Okay. Men of few words, a highly disciplined environment. And if you're a man, you're not talking about feelings. Okay. And mind you, my wife, she knows how I was raised. So at one point in our relationship, she was talking with me and one of my brothers, and she said, "It sounds like y'all were abused." And my brother said, and I agree with this, he said, "Well, then we were abused. But we're grateful for it because we had men who brought us up to be fit for this world." Now, am I suggesting that someone else do the same? No, people's got to parent based on what they think is appropriate. But I'm just saying there wasn't a lot of discussion about feelings, okay, with the males in the family. It was just duty, and this is your lot in life, and you're a provider, you're a protector. Do that and shut the fuck up about it, basically. So I'm not castigating any one who has a different approach. But I will say that, and maybe it's not correlated, but it is coincidental that ever since men have been getting in touch with their feelings in this country, we've seen testosterone levels drop. That is a medical fact. And we've also seen a rise in just chaos in society. I think you need men to be very involved and very instrumental in maintaining a society. Otherwise, you get a lot of touchy-feely, permissiveness, live and let live, that I think we're living now, and we see that it's not so good for society.
Can I ask you a question? So do you believe that you're the woman you marry, making sure that you're okay, is a thing that we as men should not care about? Because from how I hear it from you, you're basically saying the way you were raised is just do this and care not about how the people who are closest to you feel about you, and then wanting to make sure that you're good. That's what that sounds like to me. What I'm hearing is like you're having a bad day, you're just going to suck it in and bring, and there's nothing wrong with that. I do that often, but I would think it's absolutely, I think it's important that your wife would look at you and be like, okay, like there are days I come home and even though I look at her, I'm like, oh dude, it's great. She knows I've been out all day and she goes, you know what? And she looks at my daughter and goes, don't mess with daddy right now. And then they just turn and they just give me that time. Like for them to know you well enough, that I don't think that has anything to do with being an emotional man, no, I was specifically speaking about the people that you choose caring about you enough to actually care about you, even though you are doing all the stuff that you're doing.
Well, if I understand the question correctly, I understand that my wife cares about me, but it's not something I need her to validate. She doesn't need to.
Not saying that at all. That's cool.
No, I'm just
not saying that at all. Because I just
right.
said that and then I got gay as one response. And
Right,
then
but you didn't
this
get that
time
from
I'm
me,
like,
though.
no, I'm
Yeah.
not. I just thought that was a weird response. And I'm like, dude, why would you not care?
All right, so let Gimpy respond then.
Look, you know why you know what my issue is? It's because this isn't real. This is all artificial. We're talking about it. If I want to have emotional is not the right, but intimate conversation like that with one of my bros, I don't need a camera. The whole not you here. We're talking about the video we just watched. That video, it's all theater. Those men are acting. It's virtue signal. It's just another form of social media virtue signaling. Those guys sitting around, dudes don't sit around and talk like that. Even when you're having those conversations, and at the moment, and I feel the most joy. You know, men who talk to each other like that, you call them gay. Dude, I'm sorry, dude. We all hang out with men. We hang out with each other. Even when we're having conversations of that nature, it doesn't sound like that. That is inauthentic, unrealistic. It's putting on this image. They're painting a picture for you that we're so emotional. Dude, I'm a guy. I don't care how I feel because no one else cares how I feel because I still got to pay the mortgage tomorrow, keep the electric lights, run my office, do all the things I'm responsible for regardless of how I feel and whether anybody is emotionally supporting me or not because I have responsibilities. And all of us have that same problem. We all have that same existence. So when you look at dudes who are rich and living good lives and they're sitting there having these emotional, it's not real. That's not what's going on. They're doing that to present to everyone else a picture of what they want you to think this soft form of masculinity looks like. It's part of the fucking problem, man. I'm a guy. I don't care how I feel. I have to deal with the life in front of me, period. My wife loves me. I love her. I don't need her to tell me every 5 minutes. She tells me because it makes her happy. Yes, I'm happy to hear it, but dude, I don't need any of that. You know what I need? I need what you said, Chad, that when I need the space, people don't invade my space. I need my cues to be recognized. I don't need an emotional support rub. I don't need them to recognize the value of my contribution. I'm the king of the household. I'm the only one who needs to recognize what I do. I'm just saying, if you're the leader, then you accept that your people are going to have a view that they're going to have, that you lead, right? Your kids don't always, they love you as father, but they're not always in love with every single decisions you guys make, right? Every single, I don't need that. I have to lead for the bigger plan. You all guys talk. You guys are real. I'm not talking. I'm talking in terms of the video we watched.
I got you.
It's all staged. None of that is real. It's inauthentic. I think all of that is bullshit. It's totally gay. Not because men shouldn't be able to talk to each other, because that's not how men talk to each other.
Right. And one other thing is, in my experience, men are not trying to be popular. Men are doing things that have to be done. making decisions that need to be made. Damn how the rest of the family takes it, but you know that as captain of the ship, you're doing the right things, and they may not, realize that immediately, but you know what it's all about. And so you're not trying to win a popularity contest. And quite frankly, you know what? We as boys, we did not understand and appreciate the way we were raised until we got out into the real world. Okay. And that's why I say I would not change it for $1 billion.
If your dad raised you the way these guys are talking, how they say they talk, and we all know that isn't what they're doing. The real alpha men, they're just presenting that for clicks on the TV, on the YouTube and stuff. But if they were soft, if your parents were soft like that, you get bowled over by today's modern problems. If everything was in your feelings constantly, it was, suck it up, buttercup, because life gets harder, not easier, right? Like that. Again, it's madness that we are.
I do tell my son love him. I tell my son, I say love you, boy, but then I'll punch him in the chest.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, at the end of the day, like, people have to stop buying the influencer lifestyle motif. It's not real. It's not authentic. No men sit around talking like that when they're saying, even the wealthy, unless they're ultra left softy. If you want to be an ultra left soft, feel free. You'll get bowled over by every single time your emotional state changes. You'll need anxiety pills for everything. You'll be able to overcome a blade of grass. I mean,
you know how we knew. And my grandfather was the ultimate patriarch.
Same here. Wow.
World War II combat vet. Everybody in my family looked up to him. He was the commanding officer. And you know how we knew that he loved us? Because he never said he didn't. And he never expressed anything like that. But we were fed, we were clothed, and we were housed.
But even like when you think about even fatherhood, it's never. My dad didn't tell me he loved me, right? It was, my dad wasn't there, right? It's more of a presence versus emotional, right? It's more of a, like, for who? I mean, for everybody. I mean, for the child being raised, or for, it's never like this whole touchy-feely thing about, I never knew how much, he didn't give me a hug, or like, you knew. If your father was there, you knew. You know what I'm saying?
Have you ever heard the term mom love and dad love look different? Have you ever heard that term before?
I mean, we know that's true. We just know that's true. Moms are nurturers, dads are guiders and, protectors. And, but it's just like, my dad never told me he loved me. You never hear that from anybody that's grown up. No, it's like, if your dad was there, my dad was there. But I from, just being real, I do think when you get older, though, when the young come back to the old and say, look, I just appreciate what you did. I think that is more of a respect thing than something that's desired, right? And then I think it is, from a masculine point of view, like a badge of honor, like, because I do think as men sometimes we don't know if we're being effective. We know we're just doing what we know to do, but at the same time, he's like, I don't know if this is really getting through. But when you hear that later down the line, I think that is kind of like maybe a prideful moment to say, hey, all right, man,
right. But are you going to go and express it like that to your male counterparts, like the dude who literally in the video, like, dude, yeah, no one's saying
I wouldn't cry about it. I'm like, my dad was cool. I didn't really recognize,
No, what I'm saying is the dude in the video made mention to that, right? That one of the things is you come and your kids say, I love you and all this stuff, right? And the positive feedback loop from fatherhood is basically what he was referencing. So you just referenced it again and how good it would feel. And you picked a specific moment of learning later, the seeds you sow young in your kid comes back later to benefit you, right? You go back and tell your dad when, you're 40 that, I really appreciate you kicking my ass as a kid, whatever, right? Dude, if you were the dad, are you going and telling your friends how that dude did it on the video with his legs crossed at the knees and shit? Or are you going to walk into the other room and silently smile to yourself and say, these are the moments that make it worth it? You don't need to share that with anyone else. You're happy to, but I'm saying, like, that's what I'm saying. They present an idea of what manhood is. That is not real healthy masculinity. That's femininity. That's feminizing men. Men have to move forward regardless. You can't, there's no breaks for emotional stress.
That's
No,
true.
you're right. You're right. And I was thinking about this too, man. Like, just how men communicate problems as well. Like we never talk about exactly what we're going through. We just say, I just got this idea or just whatever. And then somehow like other men get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I'm going through
Like how you're doing it right now. Exactly. How you're doing it.
Yeah. It's like,
yes, but that's what I'm saying. This is what I mean. This is the real. This is authentic. This is four dudes having an intimate conversation. It's not what you showed us in that clip, bro. That clip is an influencer's image of what they think men who are alpha sit around doing, but none of those men are alpha. They just play one on the internet. Don't you understand? No matter how much money, no matter how many people they're responsible for, they're not actually leaders. Someone else is like even the dude who was the whole center. I don't like because I don't recognize all those guys, but the guy who was the center and leading the conversation, it's all you can tell. It's theatrical. It's not coming from a place of reality. It's coming from a place of invention.
Yeah. So what do you got to say, Reason?
About which part?
I mean, any of it, man.
I pretty much said what I got to say. I mean, it's yeah.
You said your wife sent it to you, right?
Yeah, my wife sent that one to me.
So I mean, I think that's an interesting progression, right? Because Gippy talked about it as being like kind of a feminine approach. It wasn't you that saw it, Reason. It was your wife that saw it, and she sent it to you. And I think that's kind of like an interesting play on it, and it's kind of a way for her to communicate that she understands you in a way.
Taking lemons and making lemonade. I like this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm explaining it right because
I get what you're saying, dude.
Gippy, you're like, this is a feminine way of approaching it.
Yeah, but your turn because it caught.
No. Okay, I see what you're getting at. See, you're saying it's a feminine way of approaching it because of the way that the responses and the answers were made.
Well, the video was feminine.
She just asked her thing was the question.
But it came up on her feed, right? It came up on her feed for her to send to you.
Okay, but I mean, sure, it could have been.
It wouldn't have come up on your feed. Is the point?
How do you know that?
Because
it didn't come up on your feed.
Yeah,
she controls all of my stuff. She sends me. I don't have time to look at social
media.
Oh,
dude, you're missing his question. His question is,
dude, it is what it is. I responded to the question. My email, all of my social media emails. Because I don't have time to do any of that stuff.
Your feed all the time. Look, like you're telling us. Okay.
What I'm saying.
I think another thing. Reason is that. Correct me if
you
I'm
have
wrong.
common sense, soldiers. Go for it.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I know you have a daughter. Do you have a son?
No.
You do not. Okay. So I do acknowledge that there are some differences in terms of raising sons versus daughters, because in the same family that I just described, the girls were treated totally different. Okay.
I was treated different than my father.
We were.
I was raised by
right.
I was raised by a Ghanaian father.
And I think
so I know like I get the West African aspect. That's why I turned out the way. That's why I say some of the stuff that I say, because I really believe that culture is ingrained in me. It really is.
And that's a highly masculinized culture. Also, is that correct?
Oh yeah, like yeah, the beatings that y'all talk. Yeah, I did get them. Get the switch. Yeah,
you're hiding behind your name tag right now. Reason.
Who's that? Yeah,
you're hiding behind your name tag.
There.
It's like you're done.
Dude, all I'm saying is this. I think that in a society such as the one that we live in, which is extremely comfortable, and many times comfort can be the enemy. So I've never been one, and I'm just talking about my experience. I'm not suggesting, what others should do, but like they're getting into the weeds of their feelings and, analyzing their emotions. And I'm like, just move forward, guys. Just move forward. Do you really have time for all that?
Yeah.
Do you really? So,
yeah. But I will say this though. I mean, I think it is good to have people around you can counsel with. I will say you should have a wisdom council around you, right? You're not publicly sharing all that, and you're not airing your therapy sessions. But I do think it is wise to have counsel around you so you can, seek direction from outside of your own mental capacity, right? I just think that's why we read books. That's why we, go to church or fellowship or what have you, is because your own thinking got you to where you are. Sometimes you need a different idea or a different approach, but that requires communication. But I agree with what you guys are saying about the whole. Well, what do you feel? Well, what do you feel? I'm feeling this. Well, I'm feeling this. Oh, well, how did that make you feel? Let's unpack that. All that. All that stuff. Yeah.
Walk out of the room. I'm just telling you now. If you ever ask me to unpack anything, that's where the conversation ends, man.
Hey, real quick, shameless plug. I mean, we get compensated so well to be on this show. I almost feel guilty about doing this, but I have a new channel called We Broke Reality, and I would encourage folk to check it out if you're into fringe science.
Yeah, so check it out. It's good stuff. I've watched his videos.
Thank you, sir.
So go ahead and start closing this out then, Soldier, since you already given your shameless plug. What you got going on this week?
Well, look, believe it or not, Jasmine Crockett. We got a couple of videos coming up on old Jasmine. When you lose CNN, you know you've lost it as a liberal. And Jasmine Crockett has lost CNN. We got a video coming up on that tomorrow, and we got some stuff on the channel right now about Letitia James. So check out Soldiers of Finance. Check out We Broke Reality.
Right on. What about you, Reason?
As I've been doing recently, it's been 2 weeks now. I've been, following Logic. He's been saying, "Hey, you got to get right, got to get in the gym, this and that, blah blah, all that good stuff." I have been eating clean now for 2 weeks. Today's Saturday. I'm talking.
Yet.
Say again.
You haven't gotten into the gym yet.
Oh, I do 3 cardio. Yeah, but what's more important to me is the fuel that you put in. That's what's the most important to me. For people that don't know, my wife deals with a whole bunch of things that she can't eat. So we are an ingredient house, and we make. I mean, at the beginning of the show, Logic always talks about he had to block me because of bread. My wife was the whole bread thing. She made this great stuff that involved like almond flour and all of that because she's gluten free and all of that good stuff. But no, I've been eating I said I'm going to eat the exact same thing that you eat 2 weeks straight now, and damn, wow. Feel great. Been getting better sleep at night. It's like, golly. So I tell you guys, these guys are pretty good at it. I'm not at Bling's level yet because Bling is the master of good food, seriously. But if you guys can get some good, healthy, nutritious food into you, and that will give you the natural energy that's necessary, and it will help you sleep better at night, remove inflammation, all that good stuff. We got to get healthy, you guys.
Well, hopefully you can purchase them with those SNAP benefits. Gippy, what you got going on this one?
Being I'm a little hat, we're just going to continue to run the world with our space lasers and enslave the human race.
There you go.
Oh, and only monkeys litter.
There we go. All right, guys, real quick. I don't know if you guys saw this, but it looks like something's going on with BLM. The co-founder and Patrice Cullors and her wife, they dissolved the business and they sell their home. It looks like they're going to be in the crosshairs of the DOJ coming up.
Dude, they also said Fauci's being investigated.
Well, we look forward to seeing what comes next. And also Obama saying he's first, he's endorsing what's her name? Spamberger in Virginia, and now he's praising Mamdani.
Yeah.
So we're gonna keep an eye on that. Again, these people like these people want the bread lines to continue. I mean, we know
they want this, dude. The Democrats want this more than the Republicans. You guys don't understand. Both sides want exactly what's going on. Like, I've been saying this all year since January. I've been trying to warn you all. This is exactly what they want. They want to keep doubling down. They want to keep ratcheting up the pressure, and we're all going to get caught in the wash. They don't care. Their meals aren't going to change.
Yep. And I agree with S-Files. Shout out to S-Files. Trust in the Lord. Yep.
Absolutely.
One of our moderators. Yeah. That is the really the test of faith right now, man. That's really what it's about. But guys, make sure you have a great weekend. Don't forget that the clocks fall back tonight. Don't forget to get an extra hour tonight. And so maybe stay up late, eat some extra popcorn. I don't know. I always miss that hour though. Like, it's always like I'm staying up extra late on this night, and I 39 years and I still haven't got that extra hour.
I don't understand what you mean by getting that extra hour.
I don't go to bed. I stay up because I got an extra hour, so I'm stay up. Instead of sleeping the extra hour, I'm staying up.
We'll get the extra hour, sir. By
that whole
what do you mean?
The circadian rhythm of your.
This is what happens when men be emotional on the internet. They lose time.
We do. We do. All right, guys. Remember, we're here to bring back shame, and only monkeys litter. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.